2025 isn't really the best year for BL series, as I have only seen a few BL shows which caught my attention for the last 5 months. In this video, we will have the list of BL series you should avoid to watch in 2025 and just save your time to see other BL dramas which have better plots and execution. Quick tip: some of these shows might be geo-blocked in your country. To unlock them, use ExpressVPN. Sign up through the link in the description for a 61% discount plus 4 months free on the 24-month plan. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. First on our list, The Last Time. Although this series only consists of 8 episodes with a runtime of around 40 minutes each, watching it felt surprisingly tedious. It was both dragging and boring at the same time, to the point where it became difficult to stay engaged. The pacing was inconsistent. Some scenes dragged on unnecessarily while others felt rushed, making it hard to get invested in the storyline or the characters. One of the most jarring aspects for me was the overall vibe of the show. The tone shifted so frequently and without clear purpose that it left the entire narrative feeling disjointed. At times, it seemed like the show couldn't decide whether it wanted to be serious, romantic, or lighthearted, which made the emotional arc of the story confusing and hard to follow. Another major issue was the overuse of flashbacks. While flashbacks can be a useful tool when used effectively, here they felt excessive and poorly timed. Instead of enhancing the story or providing meaningful context, they only muddled the timeline further. It became increasingly difficult to tell when certain events were happening, which disrupted the flow and made me question whether this was a problem with the editing or simply a flaw in the storytelling itself. Adding to the disappointment was the lack of chemistry between the main couple. Their relationship felt flat and underdeveloped, with very little growth or emotional connection from the beginning to the end. It was hard to root for them or feel emotionally invested because their bonds never truly felt believable or compelling. Of course, I recognize that opinions on shows can be highly subjective. This is just my personal take on the series, and I know that others might see it differently. Some viewers might find value in aspects that didn't work for me, so I'd still encourage anyone who's curious to give it a try and form their own opinion. Take this review with a grain of salt. It just didn't work for me. The Last Time can be watched on WeTV. Number 2 on our list, A Perfect Match. I actually came across this series for the first time while working on one of my video edits, and even just from the short clips I used, I could already tell that this show probably wasn't going to be for me. Something about the overall vibe just didn't click. The energy felt off, especially when it came to the acting performances. They felt stiff and unconvincing, and the way the story progressed didn't really capture my interest. It lacked that spark or emotional pull that usually draws me into a series, no matter how short or simple the plot is. Of course, I won't deny that the show did try to catch attention in other ways. Yes, the abs were definitely front and center, but even that wasn't enough to make up for the weak storytelling or elevate the series as a whole. It felt like style over substance, and unfortunately, the style alone couldn't carry it for me. That said, since A Perfect Match is a mini-series with episodes running only about 10 minutes each, it's not a huge time commitment. If you're curious, I'd still say go ahead and give it a shot. You might end up enjoying it more than I did. Just manage your expectations going in. A Perfect Match can be streamed on iQIYI. Number 3 on our list, Flirt Milk. I'm not exactly sure why, but BL series produced by Star Hunter just never seem to work for me. There's something about their shows that doesn't quite click with my taste. To be honest, I don't think I've ever managed to finish a single series from them, or maybe I have, but the stories were so unmemorable that I've completely forgotten about them. Either way, their productions just don't leave a lasting impression on me. When Flirt Milk was announced, I already had a strong feeling it wouldn't be for me. The trailer alone didn't spark any real excitement or curiosity, and based on that, I doubted it would convince me to commit to watching it. Still, I wanted to give it a fair shot, so I tuned in when it first aired. Surprisingly, The beginning wasn't as bad as I had anticipated. It had some potential, but even so, it failed to truly grab my attention or pull me into the story. As the episode went on, I found myself losing interest and ultimately decided that my time might be better spent watching other BL shows that offer stronger storytelling and better pacing right from the start. I'm not sure if the plot eventually improves or if the characters become more engaging later on, but as of now, it's a pass for me. Maybe others will find something worthwhile in it, but personally, Flirt Milk just didn't deliver what I look for in a BL series. Flirt Milk can be watched on YouTube and iQIYI. Number 4 on our list, Blessing of Love. I actually found myself hesitating whether or not to include the series in the list, mainly because the first 2 episodes weren't entirely bad, they were okay-ish, to say the least. There were glimpses of potential early on, and I was curious to see where the story might go. However, since this is only a mini-series with just 4 episodes, it's understandable that the pacing would feel rushed. Unfortunately, that's exactly what seemed to happen in the latter half of the show. The plot began to unravel a bit too quickly, and the development that could have given the story more emotional depth just didn't have enough time to breathe. Visually speaking, the actors were definitely easy on the eyes. Their appearance and screen presence were appealing, but that alone wasn't enough to carry the show. The acting performances, while earnest, still felt quite raw and in need of more polish. Likewise, the overall execution of the story, whether in terms of direction, editing, or emotional delivery, landed in the needs improvement category. There was an interesting concept at the heart of it, something that could have made for a compelling and heartfelt narrative, but unfortunately, it lacked the cohesive elements needed to truly bring it to life. With better pacing, stronger performances, and a more refined script, this could have been a standout mini-series. Blessing of Love is available to watch on YouTube. Number 5 on our list, Last Meal Universe. The concept had clear potential, but the execution lacked the precision needed to deliver a compelling narrative. A tighter runtime and a sharper focus on the main couple would have significantly improved the overall impact. Instead, the series diluted its emotional core by allocating too much screen time to underdeveloped side plots. At a full hour per episode, the pacing felt unnecessarily drawn out. The extended format could have been justified if it allowed for meaningful romantic development, but unfortunately, that element remained underwhelming throughout. The central relationship lacked progression and emotional payoff, which is a critical miss in a genre that relies heavily on connection and chemistry. That said, every show has its audience. While it didn't meet the standards I look for in story structure and pacing, it may still resonate with viewers who prioritize aesthetics or broader ensemble dynamics. Last Meal Universe can be watched on 1D. "2025 isn't really the best year for BL series in terms of quality, although there are surprises such as Top Form, Timpo, and Gel Boys. The overall releases were not that quite exciting in the recent months. I'm hoping that the remaining of 2025 would be full of great BL dramas. Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one."